You are watching KAVU 25 News Now weekends at 5:30.
Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us. I'm Adam Seibel. There's a power outage. This happened this afternoon around 1 p.m. where a power line was hit. So there was a down power line near North Navarro and Zach Lentz Parkway. This footage here, you can see the location and then on site those crews working to restore power. So this did cause traffic delays, and those traffic lights went out. So this is from Zach Lentz Parkway to Larkspur Street. So they did say that they're still working on it before we went on air, and the traffic lights were back on, but they were flashing. So it was still causing some traffic delays. So if you can avoid that area, I even ran into it this afternoon, and traffic was moving a bit slower due to that power outage. We did check with AEP, and we're waiting to hear back from them. So come to our website, crossroadstoday.com, for the latest on that power outage. So this brings us to your viewer poll this evening. Did you lose power today? It looks like 7% say yes, but the other 93% say no, the lights have stayed on. Well, thank you for voting. We want to hear from you. Come to crossroadstoday.com/vote to participate. Refugio County Sheriff's deputies responded to a truck traveling early this morning. This is on State Highway 35 near FM 774, where the truck hit an alligator and then rolled over. The truck had 2 adults and 3 children in it, and all of them were transported to area hospitals. Their conditions at this time unknown. That you can see right there, that's the alligator that hit, and then the truck rolling over near the highway. All right, so it's time to talk weather on this Sunday night. Howie, it's still pretty hot out there, and I know with anyone that did lose power, I'm sure it's really hot, so hopefully they restore it if their AC's out, or because it can be dangerous to lose power in these hot temperatures.
No, for sure, Adam. You don't want that air conditioning not being able to function when it's as hot as it is outside. I mean, the only thing different today is Adam and I are wearing different suits and ties. Same old story, though. Hot, hot, hot. Here we go. Heat advisory warnings across the area pretty much until 8 o'clock tonight. Heat indices pushing close, even out of Victoria now, at about $110. Here we go, 110 degrees here in Victoria. If that stayed longer and a little warmer, we could get some excessive heat warnings that are outside of the area. But either way, look, it's going on. 105, 110 plus in some spots. A little breezy, that might help just a little bit. Again, there's some tugging and pulling on some of these surrounding systems. We'll be in the 80s again this evening. Hey, we get a little relief, though. Overnight, dropping down to 76 under mostly clear skies. We're going to talk more Saharan dust, more hot weather with possible moisture moving in later on in the week. That's coming up in just a bit, Adam.
All right, thanks, Howie. From Washington State all the way to Florida, extreme temperatures impacting millions of Americans in parts of the country, seeing temperatures in the triple digits. In the Northeast, relentless rounds of rain, leaving the ground saturated, and in flash flood, taking at least 4 lives in Pennsylvania.
More than 80 million Americans across 14 states are under heat alerts this weekend. It has been the hottest first 2 weeks of July on record for Phoenix and Tucson, Arizona, as well as Tampa, Fort Myers, and Key West, Florida. Phoenix is on day 17 of temperatures at or above 110 degrees. At least 12 heat-related deaths reported in Maricopa County. Across Texas, residents are seeking relief from the heat at community pools and water parks. El Paso has seen triple-digit temperatures for 30 days in a row, and the forecast is calling for 100-degree days for at least the next week. In Los Angeles, senior centers opening their doors. ABC's Zoreen Shaw is there.
This is one of the senior centers that LA City Recs and Parks has with extended hours for people to get out of the heat. You can see the stacks of water right there. And they tell me in the last several days, they have seen several dozen people, often coming here with their pets, through those doors.
And in Las Vegas, temperatures nearing the all-time high of 117 degrees. Authorities urging residents to stay indoors during the day. Cooling centers opening there as well. Meanwhile, the ground is already saturated in much of the Northeast. Rounds of rain for more than a week. In Bucks County, Pennsylvania, a sudden flash flood swept away several cars. Several others still missing.
We can tell you tragically, we are looking for 2 children from the same family.
And more rain is in the forecast from Maine to Virginia, including parts of New York City and Philadelphia. In the Midwest, a new round of smoke from Canadian wildfires is downgrading air quality across the region. In Minnesota, officials urging everyone to limit outdoor activity. That haze impacting cities as far south as Chicago and Indianapolis. Samara Theodore, ABC News, Phoenix.
A contract worker died at Formosa's Plastic Corporation. This happening early Friday morning is when it happened. Early reports say he fell 40 feet from a scaffolding, and it's unclear if the worker had an experienced journeyman with him or if he was tied down with fall protection and whether or not that worked. The name of the worker who died at the scene has not been released, and we're waiting to hear back from the Calhoun County Sheriff's Office who responded to that incident. In a Formosa's press release, they said the investigation into this incident is ongoing and they cannot confirm the details at this time. And they would also adding that they'd express their deepest sympathies to the contractor employee's family. Victoria Police investigating a report of shots fired at Our Lady of Victory Church located at the corner of Laurent and Mesquite. According to witnesses, someone fired shots into the door during the night. Police are asking anyone who has information to contact them at 361-573-3221. All righty, grab your cell phone and scan this QR code. This is our quick response code to download the Crossroads Today app. You can watch us anytime, anywhere, and get breaking news alerts and vote in our viewer polls. Learn all about our ongoing contests and submit news tips, videos, and photos. Stay with us. Coming up next on 25 News Now at 5:30. A looming UPS strike already putting a strain on small businesses.
Stay tuned. Coming up, it's hotter than a firecracker. That's right. We've been staying that way. We'll talk more about it coming up in just a bit.
UPS strike already putting a strain on small businesses. The potential effects of a walkout by UPS workers in what could be the largest single employer strike in U.S. history.
This morning, with contract negotiations stalled between shipping giant UPS and the Teamsters Union, fears a potential strike could hit small businesses hard.
We ship a lot.
Maggie Calpin, owner of gourmet gift basket store Nibbles and Bits, says a strike would throw the thousands of packages she ships through her local UPS store into upheaval.
I'm nervous. A lot of the time we're locked in for free shipping because we order in such bulk. That might stop now.
A 10-day UPS strike could be the costliest in U.S. history, totaling an estimated $7 billion, according to a research firm that studies labor disputes.
Who are we?
Teamsters, which represent roughly 350,000 UPS workers, already marching in what are called practice picket lines. Last month, union workers voted overwhelmingly to authorize a strike starting August 1st if there's no agreement. Teamsters' demands include better pay, an increase in full-time jobs, and for the company to address health and safety concerns, including the sweltering heat inside delivery vehicles. The union accusing UPS of walking away from the bargaining table.
We work long hours. We work strenuous hours out in the crazy heat, the cold, all conditions. We made the company a lot of money over the last 5 years. So I would just ask them to come to the table.
But in a statement to ABC News, UPS says they've already made historic proposals and blamed the union for refusing to negotiate, adding, "We have not walked away and the union has a responsibility to remain at the table." Margaret Barrow, owner of New York City-based snack maker It's Nola, now racing to find other delivery options if a UPS union deal falls through.
It's going to significantly impact how much money I'm going to have to spend in looking for alternative shipping prices. I've already started looking at that, and it doesn't look very good.
The Texas Department of State Health Services has launched a fentanyl data dashboard. This is part of the state's One Pill Kills campaign and shows and tracks fentanyl poisoning deaths. Texans can access that information that shows fentanyl-related deaths from the past 10 years and sort it by demographics or geography. To see that dashboard, come to our website, crossroadstoday.com. You can also check out a 25 News Now Extra on the dangers of fentanyl. With just 6 months until the Iowa caucuses, the Republican presidential candidates have released their latest fundraising figures and are looking to show they have enough unique donors to qualify for next month's first GOP debate, which former President Trump has said he will likely not attend.
The 2024 Republican presidential primary is heating up, and fundraising figures are providing some key insights into where the different candidates stand. Governor Ron DeSantis reportedly raised over $20 million in the 6 weeks since he launched his campaign, but has been burning through cash quickly and spent nearly $8 million and had a staff of over 90 people. ABC News has learned he's now planning to shake things up and already lay off about a dozen staffers. The Trump campaign also raising big sums, over $15 million to the campaign. His team moving a lot of money around between PACs and committees, some of which, not only the campaign, have been paying some of his legal bills. The former president speaking at an event in Florida, taking a swipe at Florida's own governor, Ron DeSantis.
And I don't know why he's not here this couple of days, but he should be here. He should be here representing himself.
On the other end of the fundraising spectrum, former New Jersey Governor Chris Christie raised $1.6 million. A third of that appears to be from small dollar donors, a good sign for his campaign. When asked on ABC's This Week if Christie thinks Trump will participate in next month's first debate, Christie said yes.
Come on, Donald, get on the stage and defend your record. If you want to be the nominee, you need to defend your record.
One sign of potential struggles ahead, former Vice President Mike Pence. His campaign reporting he brought in just over $1 million. I asked him about the status of his campaign. He told me he got into the race late and still had plenty of time. On the Democratic side, President Biden's campaign has raised close to $20 million since he announced his reelection bid, finishing the quarter with more than $20 million cash on hand. According to the campaign, though, only $5 million of that from small donors. Mary Alice Parks, ABC News, Washington.
We invite you to check out our Twitter. So today, Mexico's incoming Secretary of Foreign Affairs said that Texas's deployment of buoys in the Rio Grande is a violation of water treaties between the U.S. and Mexico. Mexico plans to send a team to see if the buoys have crossed into their side of the border. So head on over to our Twitter to check that out and see more. Victoria is featured on a series called YOLO Texas TV. It aired today at noon as well as 4:30, but don't worry if you missed those airings. It's also been uploaded to their YouTube channel, YOLO TX TV, so you can watch that for free. It's a 30-minute travel and lifestyle television show airing 52 weeks a year, highlighting topics of interest. And the Victoria one, they featured this there. Look at those Gary Moses socks. So it doesn't get much more Victoria than that. It's pretty cool. For more on today's news stories, come to crossroadstoday.com. Don't forget to submit your birthday wishes. Carolina Estrain will read them live on 25 News Now Sunrise, and you can also submit a local military hero so we can recognize them.
I want some of those Gary Moses socks, Adam, and some Don Brubaker socks. Gonna be hot. We're not gonna need them though. Very much on the hot side. We'll talk about that in just a couple minutes. All right, as I said earlier, our suits and ties are different here in the studio, but it's the same thing in terms of the weather. Heat advisories continue. Moisture potentially on the rise by midweek, and then heat indices as well should be on the rise. Well, here's what we're looking at today: 102 degrees. That wasn't even a record. We were at 106 back in 1918, so above average once again. Very much on the hot side, ambient temperature-wise, and heat indices still pushing 110. I know we were just 118, 119 a few weeks ago, but still, we had a lot to give. Now, I explained it earlier. High pressure in the Gulf, high pressure off to the northwest, then storms in northern Texas, some boundaries. Yeah, that's kind of tugging on one another, and we get these 30-mile-per-hour wind gusts. But I'll take that when it's 100-plus outside. I know it's kind of like a hairdryer blowing on you, but at least there's a little bit of movement, and it's not just stagnant air. So heat advisories in the mornings. Here's what we got here. So heat indices today, 105, 109. We've been 110 in some spots. The excessive heat warnings are out of the viewing area, but still, heat advisories. Again, heat-related illnesses, you want to stay inside if you can. Plenty of fluids, loose fit clothing, light clothing, and just be very, very careful if you are out there in the heat. All right, here's what we got. These numbers a little bit lower compared to the last few days, and then over the last couple of weeks, we're not seeing the 80s right now. You get away from the water, we're in the 60s. What does that mean? Not as stuffy, and then at the same time, those heat index temperatures going to be on the lower side. All right, here's our heat indices. 110 in Victoria and Quiro. So yes, very much on the hot side. I know we were hotter, but still, we're coming down to what? So super, super hot. We're coming down to super hot. So yes, very warm across the area, and this is not expected to let up in the near future. We're going to have a little bit of a mix and a match during the week as we're expecting moisture. At the same time, we have that Sahara dust here, so they're going to kind of battle out a little bit, but we're still looking to stay on the very hot side. Here's what we have looking ahead for our heat indices. So yeah, 109, 112, 110. We're staying really with oppressive heat for much of the week. Okay, I talked about it. High pressure in the Gulf, high pressure off to the northwest. We had some systems over there in northern Texas, kind of pulling and tugging a little bit, causing our winds in that 30, allowing for the winds in that 30-mile-per-hour range. Now, I talked about that moisture. That moisture's headed our way. The thing about it is we want cloud development to bring us some showers. That might be tough because I'm going to show you in a second here. We do have that Saharan dust. Here is what we have. Yeah, it is moving from the Sahara, from Africa, all the way across the oceans in the Caribbean, across the Gulf, and into Texas. Now, we look to get a little bit of a break, potentially maybe on Tuesday for about a day or so, but then we're right back at it. That dust fills us up again. So, yes, that causes air quality problems. Asthma sufferers like myself could have some problems. At the same time, you can see that haze blocking out sunshine. That'll actually keep the temperatures down a little bit, but it also prevents moisture and cloud development. Not looking at anything in the way of any rain. Here's a rain forecast. So seas just 2 to 3. That'll keep us, though, on the choppy side. Here's what's going on out there with Don at the moment. Still a tropical storm, or subtropical storm for that matter, but staying out there in the middle of the ocean, not causing any problems. The rest of the tropics looking very good. All right, one more dust tracker. I guess I set this one up from yesterday again. But yeah, we're going to get a little bit of a break on Tuesday. 80s this evening, 76 overnight. Still a little bit on that breezy side. And then for tomorrow, 99. Heat indices pushing 107, maybe 108 or 109. And looking ahead to the rest of the week. Again, I'm wearing a different suit and tie, but the forecast pretty much the same across the board. Lots of sun, temperatures right around 100, and heat indices pushing 110 degrees. For more weather, news, and sports, you can go to our app. That's at crossroadstoday.com, and that is free with any Android and iPhone. And what else is free? Our sports coverage with Zach.
Thank you, Howie. The Generals trying to snap its 3-game losing streak last night. I'll have that coming up in sports. Tap or Scrap 6 here in Victoria Friday night. Lots of good fights on the card, but the main event of the night, a hometown fighter named Johnny Ramirez, who was met with a lot of fanfare. The crowd was very into it the entire time. I guess that's why they call him Showtime. This fight was for the first ever lightweight championship belt in Tap or Scrap history. Chants of Johnny could be heard throughout the arena, but in the end, a brutal kick to the solar plexus prompted the ref to call the match. Corpus Christi's Cole Knapp takes home the belt. Although a disappointing finish, he couldn't have been happier with the love Victoria showed him.
It's tremendous, man. It felt really good. I worked my butt off all camp. You know, I dropped 30 pounds for this fight, first time ever. Yeah, and my gym, my teammates, everybody in Victoria behind me, amazing, amazing. Definitely, I'm ready to go tomorrow. I'm always down to go. I love the fight, man. I really do. This is just, it's happened before, and Monday we'll be back in the gym, and on to the next, man. Whoever wants us, get it, let's fight.
He says his face is going to take about a week to heal. He's already ready to get back at it and represent Victoria once again. Over this weekend, hundreds of kids took to the water to showcase their talents. Down at the Victoria Aquatic Center, swimmers got to showcase their hard work over the summer. Organizers say this event allows those who have been working hard to compete against their peers at a higher level. This is a competitive event. If they win at the state level, they can make it to a national level where they will represent Texas. Yesterday was the 11 and up group, today the 10 and under. The Generals raised just over $11,000 last night for their strikeout cancer night, and we're hoping to snap that 3-game losing streak as well. They got very fortunate in the 6th inning. This base running blunder is the second out of the inning. They would strand those runners at the corner after a strikeout. Still tied at 3. In the bottom of the 6th inning, the Generals making good contact, just couldn't cash in. But in the 7th inning, Levi Castilleja drives in the go-ahead run with a base knock, and the Generals escaped with a 4-3 win. Yesterday evening, 4-star Refugio Bobcat Ernest Campbell has officially verbally committed to Texas A&M University. The standout receiver did so in front of family, friends, coaches, and teammates, announcing his commitment via a video reveal. The speedster narrowed his options down to Houston, Texas Tech, and Texas A&M. He had many great options, just like the idea of staying closer to home. And today, the Bad News Chairs took second place in the Crossroads Wheelchair Softball Classic, and DeAndre Hopkins reportedly going to the Tennessee Titans. Adam, back to you.
All right, thanks, Zach. Stay with us. Coming up, the 15th annual South Carolina Ride to End Alzheimer's kicked off this weekend. We invite you to experience our new digital streaming service, Crossroads Today Plus, which you can find on your connected TV through Amazon Fire, Roku, Apple TV, Android TV, and on your cell phone. Just search Crossroads Today Plus. The 15th annual South Carolina Ride to End Alzheimer's kicked off this weekend. Hundreds of cyclists will ride 250 miles to help find a cure for Alzheimer's disease. Not only do they ride from the mountains to the coast, they raise money that helps the state's chapter of the Alzheimer's Association provide educational programs, support groups, a 24-hour helpline, and other services. Those who take part are passionate about the cause, and the 3-day bike ride started in Simpsonsville and will go through Columbia and then end in Charleston today. Well, that's a tough ride for a great cause. You know, if it's throughout the whole weekend, I hope they get breaks and take water and everything.
Is each one going 250?
I think it's in total.
That's like from here to Dallas, isn't it?
That's a pretty long trek, but
for a good cause.
I mean, it's,
good cause.
It's a lot of work. It's hot out there, but the cause is great.
Yeah.
So my hat's off to all those everyone else helping out there for doing such a great thing out there.
Exactly.
Now let's take a look at what is going on with our weather. Like I said, our suits and ties are different, but same old story. It is hotter than a firecracker. You know the rest to it all. 104 in Victoria. We were 110 just a little bit ago. Still holding 110 up there in Cuero. So on the hot side across the area this evening will be in the 80s, above average. But hey, we dropped down around average, about 76 overnight. Not too bad. And then tomorrow, right back at it, close to 100. Heat indices pushing 108 to 109. And looking ahead, oppressive is the word as our hot streak continues here in the Crossroads.
All right, thanks guys, and thank you all for joining us. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Have a great week, everyone.